Jack Riewoldt was fascinating last night on AFL 360. Speaking of the reality of leaving his family, here's what Jack Riewoldt had to say.
Yeah, I cried like a baby, which unashamedly, that's the one thing that I'm going to struggle with more than anything else. And I think over the whole period here, I'll constantly ask myself, why am I here? What am I actually doing? Leaving my young family to come up here and play a game. Poppy's going to be a big sister at the end, right at the end of this year. So just another thing I've got to think about while I'm sitting in my small shoebox of a quarantine room here on the Gold Coast, looking out what is a very small window.
So we all love the honesty of players and they sort of give us something and we whack them down a little bit. But I think what will happen with Adam Simpson, we saw with Adam Simpson where he spoke about, we want an end date or we're going home. And because his team didn't play well, absolutely got hammered. I think the case possibly with Jack Riewoldt, the point he made, why am I here? I'm going to keep asking that question. If Jack Riewoldt doesn't perform, I think that interview will be played a little bit saying, is his heart in it? Did he want to be there?
Well, we focused on some negativity last week. I love the honesty too. That is what Richmond built a premiership on, admitting their vulnerabilities. But I think in a week when Victorians are locked up in Housing Commission flats and can't leave, I think it was unfortunate that he talked about a shoebox of a room in a window that was very small.
And I'm not defending a position that I found myself in, but you can't hang people on what they said yesterday and then today's a completely different day.
He said it yesterday.
Yeah, I know, but he's up there, he's sitting there, he's half jocular talking and sending things up. I mean, look,
You've changed your tune.
No, I haven't changed. I'm about to say that because I hadn't heard that crap. But the point, in the context of the way he said it, but what he has to be careful in saying that, Jack, is that exactly as you said, we are seeing people being locked up, we're seeing jobs going off a cliff, and when players say, I don't even know why I'm doing it, there's a pretty easy solution for it, when you go into a depression, as we're heading into, in the old days when the footballers played, they played with broken arms rather than give up their spot, and that's where people...
But we can't go backwards.
But can I just say this? 750 other players have been pretty good in this.
I think Richmond got great momentum last week and energy in their back. So you just want
Jack was fantastic, much better.
At some point you've got to accept it.
Did you get any feedback about your story? It's an accurate story. I'm not saying it wasn't, but I know it got a reaction within Richmond when you questioned their leadership.
Well, Brendan Gale's gone up to the hub, which I think is a good move. I'm not knocking Tim Livingston, the head of footy, but I just think a senior body was required, and I'm really glad Brendan's up there.
And they responded. They did respond. And I think, Jack, you've had a great win, you're up and going. Just accept it. You're on board now. But his greatest strength is his weakness. He's self-effacing, he's emotional, and he wears his heart in his sleeve.
So would you prefer as a coach that he, even though he feels that way, not to say it? Because could it reflect on other players?
It's not ideal, but I think it's like Alex Rance. He was a bit different. They accepted him for what he was. We accept your individualism. And we just move on without you because it's a way to numbers. I would think 98% of the Richmond players aren't thinking like that. And guess what, Jack? We'll drag you along. And when the ball bounces...
There have been conversations with Jack Riewoldt.
Yeah.
The whole thing these days, Lottie, is they want emotion and empathy and all the things we used to lock away in the old days. They want the exact opposite these days. And the media want people to tell stories and be honest until they are. And then you get your head kicked in.
Well, Adam Simpson found that out, didn't he?